Okay, there we go. Looks like we're live. Evening, everybody. Welcome back, Dragon Age Inquisition. It's looking like we're actually going to um do some real questing tonight. We're going to meet with Hawke's ally, that is Stroud, the thumbnail guy with the mustache. We should also probably do some companion quests as well. Because why not? That's going to be a good thing to do. Survey. Yeah. Now that we got our specialization last time and we spent some time wandering around the desert, it's looking like we should be good to move on. So let's go back to Crestwood tonight, just to begin. We should probably chat with everyone before we go too much further, just to see if there's anything else they have to say about Hawke, about the Grey Wardens, about Stroud, about things going on recently, about whatever we've been doing.
Corypheus is back. Oh, shit.
That's very Varric. All I can say.
You said he was a darkspawn, or a magister. What is he really?
I'm not sure. I don't think Corypheus really knows either. He's definitely a darkspawn, but when we found him, it was pretty obvious he hadn't heard that. He thinks he's a magister, a priest of Dumat, in fact. He says he broke into the Golden City, like in the Chantry tale.
If you and Hawke defeated him once, we can do it again.
We didn't just think Corypheus was dead. He was dead. No pulse, no breath, full of stab wounds. There wasn't a lot of room for doubt. It makes me wonder. I thought the Wardens imprisoned Corypheus to use him. Maybe they did it because he can't be killed.
So, that's potentially useful information moving forward. We'll see. We'll see if he's, well, inevitably this will mean that part of the quest is finding out how do we kill him. Because apparently that's more difficult than we might think. Alright, let's see.
How did you and Hawke even wind up in a Grey Warden prison for ancient darkspawn?
Corypheus sent people after Hawke. He actually got control of an entire Carter clan. Made them drink darkspawn blood. Weird shit. We tracked the Carter to an old dwarven fort or something in the mountains. Of course, it turned out to be a trap. They needed Hawke's blood to open the locks holding Corypheus, and they drew us into the prison to get it.
Yeah, so given what we know and what we are finding more about tonight, about Corypheus's connection to the Grey Wardens, it makes me wonder if that could have something to do with why he made the Carta dwarves drink darkspawn blood, because that's part of the Grey Warden joining ritual. To drink darkspawn blood mixed with magical ingredients and archdemon blood as well. So there is more to the ritual than just drink darkspawn blood, because that just kills you. But I mean, over time, turns you into a ghoul, then kills you. But that's potentially interesting that there might be a connection there. Something I kind of hadn't thought of before, but might be worth considering.
Let's hope Corypheus just turns out to be really good at playing dead.
That makes two of us. Maker's breath, what have I let loose?
You had nothing to do with this, Varric.
I was the one who led Hawke to Corypheus. If I hadn't tracked the Carta to that ruin. But you've got more important things to do than listen to me worry. Just let me know when you want something shot.
Alright, well, I mean, with those Carta dwarves going after Hawke and Carver, I I still think there was a relatively good reason in what was the DLC called? Whatever the DLC was called, the one where you went after Corypheus. I think there was good enough reason to go after him regardless, even if it would turn out in. Well, they also couldn't have known how it would turn out, but given what was going on, pretty reasonable that they were going after and trying to kill both Hawke and his brother, his only surviving brother. Worth remembering.
Greetings.
I need to know more about Corypheus.
We spoke of this on our travels to Skyhawk. What more can I tell you? Cassandra and Varric seem more familiar with their adversary.
Okay.
Oh, I'll take advice from just about anyone right now.
I'm flattered. I claim no secret wisdom, but I will guess as best I can.
What can you tell me about the source of Corypheus's power?
According to the law, the ancient Magistars of the Winter received guidance from the old gods. Corypheus commands a false archdemon, a corrupted old god. This suggests he no longer sees himself as their minion. Some of his unique power comes from the corruption of the blight. The rest may come from the orb he carries.
So, is that actually confirming that the dragon is a corrupted old god? That's an archdemon. Corrupted old god is Dragon Age talk for demon, or archdemon. One of the things that are responsible for the blight, one of the things that are responsible for blights, blights, big plural, things like that we just fought and killed in Origins, things that need to be killed by a Grey Warden for very specific reasons, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I assumed the implication that it was excuse me, just a tainted dragon, maybe a high dragon, something significant and very scary, but I did not get the impression that it was actually an old god, because there were only 7 old gods. There were 7 Tevinter old gods, and there have been 5 blights up until now, not including whatever Corypheus is doing. And if that means if he has one of the remaining 2 old gods, which, by the way, couldn't be Dumat. Dumat was responsible for the first blight. So if this were some other old god, one of the last 2, I don't remember which ones, that would mean that there's only one left. Which would be strange. Especially, I will say, especially given the rumors that Dragon Age 4 is going to include a double blight. 2 old gods awakening, and controlling Darkspawn for a new blight, that sort of thing. Don't know how much worse that would be than normal, especially given that Darkspawn numbers were pared down quite a bit by the last blight, by their attacking Ferelden, and getting trounced by the hero Ferelden and the Grey Wardens and such. Plus the whole architect thing, one of the other magisters, if you recall from Awakening, from the Origins DLC, Awakening, that was one of the other magisters, the architect. We haven't seen again. Something to remember. But yeah, if Corypheus's dragon pet is one of the 2 remaining old gods, that means there's just one left. That rules out another blight, but also this could be that it's weird that, well, let me put it this way. It strikes me as weird that I'm interpreting this in this way, because this is not the common understanding of the Dragon Age fandom community. Typically, they think of this as just a blighted dragon or something like that, something like I was saying. It'd be weird if this were a proper archdemon, or proper corrupted old god. Real old god. One of the 7. Anyway, I don't know what to make of this. We'll guess we will have to see, I suppose. We'll have to see. And what about the orb? He's got a big old magic orb. Scary thing.
I would like to know more about the orb he carries.
As I said, that must be the means by which he created the breach. I suspect the blast to destroy the Conclave was more accident than anything. The result of unlocking power that had sought release for ages. What I cannot understand is how he managed to survive such an explosion.
You said that you believed the orb is elven.
I never would have believed a Devinter mage could unlock such a powerful relic. It clearly enhances his abilities, giving him access to power I should never have known.
Like the power to control the archdemon.
Indirectly, one assumes. Nothing in any law connects my people to the old god dragons who became archdemons.
So again, we're learning more. The elves, even the ancient elves of Arlathan, had nothing to do with the old gods who became archdemons. The old gods of Tevinter. And he, Solus, is getting very indignant that a human magister, a darkspawn human magister, is playing around with elven relics. He does not care for that very much. I'm a little bit entertained by Angry Egg. Anyway, alright, let's see. Let's keep seeing.
What do you think Corypheus will do next?
You shamed him when you destroyed Haven. Spoiled his glorious victory. It would be worse to acknowledge that you had done so. He must continue on his course or show weakness. He will return to his plans to throw Olay into chaos, and then conquer it for Tevinter.
You're sure that's what he'll do?
As certain as is possible. Assuming I can plausibly predict a man who seeks to rise to godhood.
And can you?
The key is understanding this. No real god
Damn
will
it.
prove himself. Anyone who tries is mad or lying. His deception will undo him, as it has done countless fools before.
Remember that. Please remember that line. Because I almost choked on it. Oh, egg. Meanwhile, I'm trying a new thing. Thunderbird. It's Australian ginger beer. Good. Ooh, gosh. I'm bad at opening these. It's fine. Anyway, they're pretty tasty, and it's one of those. It's a soda. It's soft drink. It comes at the recommendation of the Night's Watch, so Shadowversity gang, and I happen to see them at just Winn-Dixie, so you gotta get a few of them, and they're really good, and they're very gingerier than like ginger ale type thing. So they are they're nice sippable kind of soda. Good though. Anyway, that was meant as a distraction from what Solus was just saying, because oh my god, that was way too on the nose.
I'm interested in what you told me of yourself and your studies. If you have time, I'd like to hear more.
You continue to surprise me. All right, let us talk. Preferably somewhere more interesting than this.
Where are we going? And once again, as I've said before, if any of these codex entries interest anyone in particular that you want to go see, I'm happy to go back through and read them, discuss. Where are we going, Solus? Reading. Jeez. It's a strange, annoying loading screen. It's black screen. Sorry about that. Expected at least loading screen to be the nice thing. Oh, we have wind sounds. Here we go. Oh. Interesting.
Why here?
Haven is familiar. It will always be important to you.
We talked about that already.
I sat beside you while you slept, studying the anchor.
He's a little bit harder to take seriously wearing the plaid weave, but alright.
I'm glad someone was watching over me.
You were a mystery. You still are. I ran every test I could imagine, searched the Fade, yet found nothing. Cassandra suspected duplicity. She threatened to have me executed as an apostate if I didn't produce results.
Cassandra's like that with everyone.
Yes. You were never going to wake up? How could you? A mortal sent physically through the Fade. I was frustrated, frightened. The spirits I might have consulted had been driven away by the breach. Although I wished to help, I had no faith in Cassandra, or she in me. I was ready to flee.
But you stayed.
I did. I told myself,
Hello, Kevin.
one more attempt to seal the rifts. I tried and failed. No ordinary magic would affect them.
Evening.
I watched the rifts expand and grow, resigned myself to flee, and then...
Why is that still open? Back open. I mean, we're gonna find out, don't worry.
Seems you hold the key to our salvation. You had sealed it with a gesture. And right then, I felt the whole world change.
You didn't say it that way, I don't think. You just said it.
Is that how you remember it? That is what I mean about perception shaping our existence.
But that's only true in the Fade.
Where do you think we were?
This isn't real.
That's a matter of debate. Probably best discussed after you wake up.
Sketchy. Little bit creepy. Really cool, though. Solus took us on a journey through the Fade, which is a little bit weird for a mage to go and hang out with a non-mage in the Fade. Seems like he's got a bit of a home field advantage, but whatever. Kind of cool, though. Really cool, though, actually. I love that little scene. Anyway. In our very nice, cavernous, beautiful rose window bedroom. This is really gorgeous. I love a lot of the design here. Anyway, how's it going, Kevin? Things going well? Man. Whee! If I jump down, I will die. I suspect. He's not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. I'm a coward. Not gonna do it. Anyway. So that does tell me we should probably just talk to everybody else too, before we move on with the main plot. I'm sure everybody else has more things to tell us, talk about, more secrets to reveal. Yeah, Kevin says that room alone could be a home unto itself. Absolutely, I love it. I will say one of the biggest criticisms I've seen of Skyhold, the design of Skyhold, the layout, all that, is that the size of everything, of especially the rooms, and especially the height of the rooms, is wildly unrealistic. Ooh, fairly pleasant day. That's good. Glad to hear. But yeah, the especially the height of all of the rooms, even the Great Hall and such, the height of especially the ordinary little rooms and the massive scope of all the rooms is wildly unrealistic for a castle. Castles will consistently have very thick walls and will consistently have relatively small, densely packed rooms to get as much space, as much efficiently used space as possible. However, of course, you don't want to do that in game design, right? For game design reasons, because you have a third person camera floating around at a fair distance from the player character. So, unless you want this to keep happening, you want a good deal of space to wander around and look through. So, that's I assume at least that's the primary reason why why so many of the rooms are very large. That doesn't excuse a few things like non-vaulted stone ceilings in a lot of places. That's a little bit silly, but what are you gonna do? It's not perfect.
Have I told you how much I like the throne you placed in the Great Hall? The chantry symbolism adds just the right touch.
Wow. I didn't expect that. That is actually a random little dialogue change based on a change in decor. Cool. Because that's optional. I chose specifically the Chantry throne instead of the Inquisition throne. That's really neat. That's a cool touch. I'm glad that was cool. Very cool. I don't usually use the Chantry one. So I've never gotten that dialogue before. That's really cool.
I strive to match your elegant sense of style.
When things have settled down a bit, I will take you to Val Royo and introduce you to my seamstress. And appearances are important. We can't have you mistaken for a commoner.
I suppose it's important to show we're an authority to be respected.
Is a noble.
Not just respected, my dear. Awed, feared, aspired to. You command an army of the faithful, outfitted by the coin of the nobility. You must be a woman who commoners aspire to be, and to whom nobles bow.
And you think I can accomplish this purely through fashion?
It is a weapon in your arsenal. Don't overlook it, my dear. The stories of your accomplishments will spread, and with them, doubt. Are you truly the woman from the tales? They will question what they've heard, but they will believe what they see. They must see someone greater than legends.
That's man, I keep saying that I really like her. She has a weird kind of wisdom that she's lending, because it's not like typical high fantasy kind of wisdom, and it's not even typical like gritty fantasy kind of realism type wisdom. It is really distinctively like modern in the historical sense. So like 16th century nobility type wisdom. Because it's a fair point, right? If you are a legend, if there are legends about you, and then you show up just being some slob who, let's be honest, look at Sable's posture. That's not exactly how a legend stands, is it? I don't think. Kevin says that's a fair point. One of the rules of power is act like a king to be treated like a king. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those. It's even one of those points for like, I forget what it's called. Social engineering kind of thing. If you're going to do anything, if you're gonna just win over people in general, you have to act the part necessarily, especially if it's in a big social context. And this even applies to something like, if you're trying to get in somewhere, if you're trying to just kind of not be questioned as you wander through somewhere you maybe not supposed to be. The two big rules: carry a clipboard, look like you know where you're going, especially if you don't know where you're going. And this applies to just about anywhere. Like, if you just wander through, aimlessly looking around, then people will approach you and people will say, "What the hell are you doing here?" And then you'll have to either lie your way through or leave. But if you're infiltrating, so to speak, and you act like you know exactly where you're going, and you act like you are going there with a purpose, especially if you are busy with something or whatever, that sort of thing, then people will probably not bother you. This is both in my experience and in theory. This is relatively common, relatively straightforward bits of advice if you're trying to get in somewhere. If you're trying to go do something and not be bothered about it. Especially if you're kind of not supposed to be there, kind of thing. But in a more, maybe a less underhanded context like this one, we have the problem of matching the legend. We have the problem of not violating people's expectations. Because if you violate people's expectations, if people expect a powerful noble inquisitor, and they get basically a commoner, then they're going to have to reevaluate what they thought. Maybe that's a good thing, but it's probably not. Probably what that means is they're going to reevaluate what they thought negatively. Eric says that's how that urban explorer walked right by construction guys into Disney Quest while they were tearing it down to video document it. Yeah, no, totally works. A lot of those urban explorer type things, a lot of the social engineering type people, the folks who just kind of walk into important parties and stuff. Wore a hard hat, had a toolbox, walked right by several people. Of course he did. Who's going to question somebody is on a job site? Especially if it's a big enough job site that you don't know all your coworkers. And big corporate jobs are like that, so of course not. You don't even need, like, fake badge or whatever. You can just, like you said, hard hat and toolbox. That'll do the job. I will say, this is probably especially true these days, in that context at least, that if you're wearing a mask, no one's going to question you, because you're not a person. You're a faceless anonymity walking by, which of course is overall a horrible atrocity that is tearing society apart. But at the same time, it's exploitable, I'm sure. Now, like I said, in more this context, in the nobility context, it's not necessarily a bad thing that a violation of someone's expectations would force them to reevaluate what they thought, because you could have a bad reputation and it could force them to reevaluate. But as long as you don't accumulate a widespread terrible reputation, it's probably better to let the standard story do the job instead of your own personal interactions with any given random peasant. If you look the part, they will buy the story, and it will reinforce what they already think about the Inquisition as these noble servants of the Maker who are fighting Corypheus and closing the hole in the sky and all that wonder, all of the positive legends that they've certainly heard. And again, this is just straightforwardly crowd psychology. They don't have right. We have limited cognitive capacity to evaluate and reevaluate things. So why bother if the thing that you observe fits perfectly with the narrative that you've heard? You're just going to go with it, right? You're not going to question. You're not going to reevaluate. You're not going to look deeper into it. You're not going to try to personalize the legend or personalize the impersonal, because it's not there. There's no reason to. There's no additional reason given. So I think that I think she's right, and I think I'm gonna guess, based on what we're gonna ask here, I'm going to guess that she's going to say yes. That it's very important, even for the divine, the fantasy lady pope, basically. Who, by the way, there isn't one right now, but when there is, the fantasy lady pope even, it's very important to look the part and to steer into people's expectations. Again, unless you want to give people a reason to reconsider those expectations. Which I will say is probably, speaking of popes, I think is in large part what Pope Francis did. And I think he could have done it one way or the other, because honestly, the last few popes have been pretty middle of the road as far as their aesthetics go. They haven't been wearing the papal tiara, they haven't been wreathed in gold kind of things, but they have been ostentatious by worldly standards. Whereas now we have Pope Francis, who consistently basically dresses in a white cassock. Very simple, very down to earth, very personable, and that is jarring people out of what they think of the papacy and what they think of the Catholic Church, which I think is probably a good thing these days. Forcing people to reevaluate. Now, again, maybe they're not getting the best impression that they could, but I think that reevaluating with the fact that somebody like Francis is forcing them to reevaluate, and he is the person, not just the figurehead, that's getting them to reevaluate, and that he is a genuinely, unbelievably charitable person, a kind and loving and charitable person. I think that he does good to do that. I think worth noting, I think he could have probably done exactly the same thing to exactly the same benefit by bringing back the ancient, not too ancient, but relatively ancient, glorious aesthetic of the gilded pope, so to speak. Because it would have forced people to reevaluate, saying, whoa, that's weird, that's different, that's not what I'm used to. It's not what I've seen out of popes for the last, 50 years. And so, but then they would reevaluate, and they would still have the actual genuine character of Francis there, even if he dressed up instead of dressed down. I think either way works. And I think dressing up I still think that dressing up would fit the office better, fit the dignity of the office better, and also would make the trads happy, which he has not done a lot of. Anyway, I digress.
If that's your standard for me, what does the divine have to live up to?
Andraste and the Maker cast very large shadows. The divine absolutely must set the example for all Thedas. She must seem to be the embodiment of the Maker to the faithful. She needs the authority of the Maker and the charisma of Andraste. It will be no small task to fill that vacant throne.
I would think more so Andraste than the Maker, again, just because of the, especially because of the parallelism with real world Catholic ecclesiology. But Evan asked, that makes me curious. I wonder what a matriarchal title would be if the priesthood had been female. Would the Pope's equivalent be the ma'am? Well, in this case, it's the divine. Although you're right, that is a little odd. Yeah, I don't know, because Papa, is just father. He's the highest of the high. He's the highest priest. I mean, the original title of the Pope was Pontifex Maximus, which was borrowed from the Romans. So there you go. That'll do it. The Pontifex. I mean, although you can say that it's Pontifex, meaning priest, but also bridge between man and the divine. So maybe something like that. Oh, hi Michael. Erica says Michael sees you on the screen and saying "Dada" over and over. Hi Michael, how you doing? He doesn't. I'm assuming he doesn't hear me, but I'm waving anyway. Anyway, but yeah. So I think I don't know. I do think, as you said, I think there would. reasonably, it would be something different than Pope, because that's, again, that means father, and that's inappropriate. That would be inappropriate for a matriarch. But I never quite liked that the fantasy lady Pope was called divine, because it's weird. That is strange. That carries a very different connotation than what I might expect, than what I would otherwise expect. Automatically crit from stealth. I like that. Yeah. All right. Let's talk to Dorian. See what he's up to. Talk about Tevinter a little bit. His god-awful homeland. Very warm
A
homeland,
letter
I guess.
regarding Felix, Alexius's son.
Oh.
He went to the magisterium, stood on the Senate floor, and told them of you. A glowing testimonial, I'm informed.
Oh, nice. Wow.
No news on the reaction, but everyone back home is talking. Felix always was as good as his word.
Was?
He's dead. The blight caught up with him.
It's barely been any time at all. Was he so ill?
Honestly, he should have died a long time ago. Alexius was using magic to keep him alive. Felix used to sneak me treats from the kitchens when I was working late in his father's study. Don't get into trouble on my behalf, I tell him. I like trouble, he'd say. Tevinter could use more mages like him. Those who put the good of others above themselves.
I'm gonna go ahead and ask, so you all are, aware. Dorian swings in that particular direction, but who knows?
Were the two of you...
Felix and I? What an odd question. No, I had no intention of abusing Alexius's hospitality by seducing his son.
Oh, polite
Not
of
that
you.
I've been proper my whole life by any means. It wasn't like that. Even in illness, Felix was the best of us. With him around, you knew things could be better.
Okay, so here's the thing. That is a wonderful attitude to hear. I really like that. Where we have a gay man, right, Dorian, who sees another man who he greatly admires in a filial way. Right? In what seems to be a purely filial way, or at least a filial and as a friend and as a, what would be the term? What's Aristotle's term for this? A partner in virtue, I guess you'd say. Someone who can work together to become better, to achieve virtue. And I honestly, it's admirable and it's all wonderful and good. However, color me skeptical. Because I often find in reality, especially in, maybe this is a modernist thing, but I find that when sexual attraction creeps into a relationship like this, especially aberrant non-marital sexual attraction, let's say, can creep into a situation like this, it interrupts, disrupts, and disorders these kind of good aspects of friendship. This is why we see today this issue with especially in media analysis, this issue of thinking that any kind of affection between men is gay, because every sign of friendship is interpreted sexually. And I'm pleasantly surprised to see this here, really, quite frankly. This was when did this come out? 2015? 2014? 2014. So this did come out before the world went mad. Really. Went extremely mad. And so, I mean, we can credit it in part to that. Yeah, Kevin says it's Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart. Yeah, actually, pretty much so. It's that kind of, I will say, platonic friendship, not just in the non-sexual sense, but in the sense of the kind of friendship that Plato actually put forward in his writings of the friends who provide for each other examples of virtue such that they can both become better in the process of their friendship. Now that is something that's beautiful and worth pursuing and tragically uncommon today, in large part, again, like I said, because of the intrusion of erotic love into what should be friendship. It's good to see this, and I forgot that was I forgot about this. I'm surprised to see it because again, this is 8 years later, and our world has changed, so to speak, to a great degree. I'll tell you what. I'll put. This makes me think of a talk from a while ago, a good while ago, from Father Mike Schmitz about the virtuous aspect of what we might call same-sex attraction. The part of the attraction that is non-sexual. The part of what we twist and what we move into a kind of sexual attraction. But that intrinsically, of itself, properly expressed, is this kind of virtuous or filial friendship. So I'll put that, like I said, I'll put that in the description. It was a very good one. It was a good talk. It was from a while ago. It was from quite a few years ago now, probably 2017 or 18, maybe, something like that. Fourth Father Mike blew up and became everywhere and the #1 podcast in the world, kind of thing. From reading the Bible, really cool. But yeah, Kevin says I think the intensification of distorted eros is tied to the spiritual attack by demons tasked with destroying the institution of marriage and family. Yeah, I always say, and I've said for a good while now, imagine looking at the world around us today especially, but really almost at any point, and not believing that there are literal demons prowling the earth seeking the ruination of souls. Imagine thinking that. Imagine looking around and not seeing demons. Come on now. Oh, who was it? Somebody earlier this week, or maybe last week. I'm gonna look this up because I actually have to know, because this is a really good interview with Tom Woods, with a relatively strange and fairly conspiratorial fella. Who the heck was it? James Delingpole. That's the guy. James Delingpole, an English journalist and podcaster and such. And part of what they talked about in the interview, later in the interview especially, was this idea of that there is a real concerted effort by powers above humans, by powers above what we observe, behind a lot of the evil in the world, and that is really the only full explanation for what we are seeing and what we have seen. That otherwise, there is not an explanatory mechanism for a lot of the darker and more evil changes that we see. Again, this isn't a recent thing. I generally like to say that the world went mad in 2015, roughly speaking. But it's been on a trajectory for 2,000 years, at least. So it's not really anything new. Ever since Christ defeated the devil's trying to get payback. Let's put it that way. Anyway, yeah, I think I like this. Like I said, I really, really like this this unexpected little glimpse at an unbelievably and surprisingly wholesome and virtuous friendship.
He should be an example for others to follow, or his death is wasted.
Should I spread the word? We could spawn the cult of Felix within a matter of days.
There are worse things.
Probably true.
Yeah, but...
And you're right. His actions should not be forgotten.
Had to make it weird, Dorian.
Thankfully, Felix wasn't the only decent sort kicking around Thedas.
All right, let's move on along. See what Liliana's up to upstairs. With all of her pigeons, or actually, I guess ravens. Is it ravens or pigeons? Yeah, it's ravens.
Training will continue when your duties allow.
Oh, cool, thanks.
Reports of fade rifts and demons keep coming. The people are terrified, and it's only getting worse. The only thing that will calm their fears now is the hope that someone out there can save them. You have to be that someone. No one else has any power over the rifts. Seal them. Your legend will spread, and Thedas will learn to trust the Inquisition.
Well, there's that again. This point of spreading the legend. And in this game especially, I really like playing into the whole Herald of Andraste legend. I think that is a really, really interesting story aspect, a storyline that we get in this game of being the chosen of God. Literally, being the chosen of God. Even if that gets complicated as we go forward. It gets more complicated, but it's still, quite clearly, you are the chosen one. In a very religious sense. And it's... the whole of the story kind of flows into that. And especially we see this, we saw this already with the Dawn Will Come scene where everyone is singing in the mountains when the Herald of Andraste awakens, comes back from what everyone thought was death. She miraculously survives this massive fatal avalanche that destroyed the forces of Corypheus. And through this defeat by Corypheus, and, note, defeat of Corypheus as well, suddenly we have this massive fortress that we're led to. It's a miracle. Again, it's another one of those where it's another aspect of this storyline where we see a setback turning into a victory. And it happens over and over and over and over and over and over and over again throughout the entirety of this storyline. Of the storyline of this game, we see over and over, we have cases where it seems like, it viscerally seems like the Maker is on the Inquisitor's side, the Inquisition's side, against Corypheus. That there is a force of destiny, and that we're always somehow catching up, or maybe even a step ahead. Miraculously, again, through divine providence. It's really, it's great. It's great that they somehow managed to do that, managed to make that storyline work without it being ham-fisted, without it being without being overly cynical about it, but also without being overly saccharine about it. They walked a very difficult line to make this work. Kevin said 2015 and the legalization and positive sanction of redefining marriage was the fall of the Dark Shroud. I think so. That was, I think, a major, perhaps the major cultural shift of the last generation, at the very least, possibly of the last century. Certainly the last generation. Century might be pushing it. A lot happened in the 20th century that was hellish. But certainly of this century so far, that was a huge, unbelievably massive cultural shift. And it's also worth noting one that was imposed from above. It was imposed by cultural, legal, and political elites, not one that arose from a sort of organic cultural shift. It was one that was imposed that then shifted the culture. And I think that you're right. I think that was a massive change, especially in American culture, but worldwide in general as well. It fundamentally changed, I think, how we. It was like you said, it was the veil that fell, which allowed them a lot of further changes to happen very quickly. If you look back 7 or 8 years to 2014, this game came out in 2014. You even looked at the cultural impact of the sort of cultural sensibilities of this game, even, which was BioWare. So it was a relatively progressive company. It was very progressive for the time and all of that. You have like you have gay and even transgender characters in this game in a medieval setting, making it fairly weird. But even still, a lot of the cultural sensibilities and a lot of the ethical sensibilities of this game are very traditional, especially by 2022 standards, by post 2015 standards. It's amazing to see the rapidity of the shifts in cultural sensibilities. Rapidity? Is that a word? Let's pretend that's a word. Let's go with yes. Let's see.
The Divine's death hit you hard. How have you been feeling? Oh, you are referring to my outburst in the Haven. I am much better now. Justinia was such a dear friend, and there were so many things going wrong. Sometimes it's best to talk these things out. I was there when the hero Ferelden defeated the Archdemon. We won the day, and I thought the Makers smiled on me. When the Divine requested my help, I went to her. I owed her that much. I sacrificed so much to do the Maker's work. But now, Justinia is dead. I was angry. I felt betrayed. But I shouldn't have let my emotions get the better of me. I'm sorry.
It's very... We see Leliana's character development here again, and I think a very similar way to how we saw Liara's character development in Mass Effect trilogy, especially between 1 and 2. That a lot of it happens off screen. But Leliana is this very peaceful, calm, devoted nun, basically, in Dragon Age Origins. And we see her now as this kind of master assassin. And I think what happened is that she found a middle ground, because we know from Leliana's song, the DLC in Origins, that she was originally a bard. She was a thief, an assassin, a spy, all of this, a lesbian. But then by the time Origins comes around, she turns her entire life around 180 degrees and becomes this woman of God. And then, gradually, again, off-screen, over the course of the several years that pass during Dragon Age 2, we see Leliana, or the next time we see Leliana, I guess I should say, she is the left hand of the Divine. She's the secretive underhand of the Divine. She is embodying, let us do evil that good may come. I don't know if she would quite say it. Actually, you know what? I think... Let me put it this way. I think she would say it like that, even though that is probably an unfair and uncharitable description of what she actually does and how she actually operates, especially at the command of the Divine. At the command of the Divine. But it's interesting to see that. It's interesting to see that development sort of happen off screen. We don't actually see it. Similarly to how between Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2, we don't see Liara actually developed develop from archaeologist, from naive little 100-year-old archaeologist, which is, again, remember, young, 107 or whatever. We don't see her develop into this ruthless information broker. It's just the next time we see her, she's suddenly threatening to flay someone alive if they don't pay her the money they owe her. Like, it's a radical, very sudden, again, off-screen shift. But it makes sense, I think, in both cases for the characters. And I like, again, in both cases, how the player character can participate in that shift, and especially after the fact, the tempering of the shift, say. In a very different way. You can't do it romantically in any sense in Inquisition. No Inquisitor, no version of the Inquisitor can romance Liliana. Unlike Shepard, who is basically Liara is basically the canon romance in Mass Effect. But in this case, I think that I think really in both cases, honestly, that it is it's a really it is well done for a shortcutted character arc. Like, they didn't want to put in they wanted to get to the interesting part. And so they put a lot of the character development between games in both cases. But then they deal with the aftermath in a really clever and a really really interesting, really interactive sort of way. Anyway, Kevin said it's interesting that the other side can successfully succeed at a top-down shift, which translates to an actualized cultural shift. I think that's why some on the opposite end think it could work for them too. Yeah, I think so. I think that is. I mean, this is a plague of people on the right. This is a lot of what you see of like ex-libertarian types, the libertarian to alt-right pipeline types, who think that because the left can succeed in these ways, that the right could do it too, if we just grabbed the reins of power. This is the Nick Fuentes kind of view. And I think that they discount the duplicitousness and, frankly, the abject evil of that side. What they don't account for the fact that if they were to do that, if they were to successfully have this kind of top-down influence, if they were to, take over the state and use it for good purposes, that sort of thing. But again, even if they are good purposes, again, it's the movie Boromir ideology. Let us take the ring. Let us take the ring back to Gondor and use the weapon of the enemy. Yeah, good luck. Okay. We know how that ends. It's not going to work. It's fundamentally not going to work, and it's going to destroy you in the process. It's a nasty, horrible, dangerous ideology, and it's a very alluring temptation to think that when your enemy is winning, that you can try to win by the same means that they're using against you. But again, to use the metaphor of the ring, which I think is very apt, that when Gandalf considers taking the ring out of a desire to do good, the reason he doesn't is because Tolkien said this in one of his letters, that if Gandalf picked up the ring, used it for good purposes to fight Sauron, to destroy Sauron, then Sauron would have lost. Probably. It would have been a difficult fight. It would have been... I think Tolkien said that Gandalf had the advantage and would have probably come out victorious. But that ultimately it didn't matter. For the purpose of the ring, for the purposes of the ring itself, and what Sauron represented, it didn't matter who won. Because the righteousness of Gandalf would have been corrupted by the domineering of the ring, to the point of being, to the point of transforming his righteousness into self-righteousness, transforming Gandalf into what we see of Sauron, or of Saruman, in especially in the Two Towers, of wanting to rule the free peoples of Middle Earth because he knows better. That's the reason that's given in the books, at least. And we would have seen the same thing from Gandalf, and we would have seen, effectively, a new Sauron. No better. Possibly even worse. Because initially, at least, Gandalf had great wisdom that Sauron had long since abandoned. And so, Gandalf, wielding the One Ring, out of an attempt to do good, would have carried out far more evil than Sauron would have been capable of doing. Because he was more capable. More wise, more capable, etc. And this is why, again, we cannot pick up and use the weapons of the enemy. It will fail. And if we do succeed, we will fail anyway. Because by picking up and using the weapon of the enemy, we will accomplish their ends, not ours. Even if we're striving for our ends, it won't happen. This is, again, I think, why this is such an alluring danger that, like I said, a lot of right-wingers fall into, especially these last few years. This is where I think so much of the Trump support came from, too. They were thinking, well, this is a big strong man guy. A big strong orange man will take over everything and will become this great, powerful... I mean, a lot of them thought that, you know, just like the left thought he was Cheeto Mussolini, so did they. So did the people on the right. Some of Trump's most ardent supporters thought that he was going to take over and do the strongman stuff, do the dictator stuff, take over the government and rule for the good of the people, and all that good ends, all that imaginary crap that doesn't actually happen and can't actually happen. It did not happen. He didn't have the capability of doing that. But if he had, it would have been, again, just as disastrous. Maybe more so. Again, maybe more so. The ring must be destroyed. To mix our fantasy series, of course. The metaphor doesn't apply here so much. Exactly. Although, I mean, we can of course, speak of Corypheus' orb, which ultimately must be destroyed, despite some of our companions wishing to retrieve it and use it for our own purposes. Unwise. Let's not do that.
Don't apologize. You were grieving and upset. I understand.
Thank you. Now enough of this. Let us think more pleasant thoughts.
In Redcliffe, you sacrificed yourself so that I could return here.
Of course I did. One small life in exchange for a second chance at history. I always loved a bargain.
Hello?
It was still a sacrifice, and still noble.
And I would do it again.
Anything I should know?
It seems that the Orlesian army is awaiting our next move. Some of the generals are sympathetic to our cause, others are still suspicious. Our actions are under a great deal of scrutiny.
Okay.
I'll leave you to your work.
Okay, let's head on down. Why can't we head down from here? What is this? Fine. Whee! This is not the way you're supposed to get down from here, but it'll work. It'll do the job. Evan asked, do you think DeSantis has taken the ring and used it for good, or do you think he's exercising a different kind of authority? I think he's absolutely exercising a different kind of authority. I don't see him as an authoritarian type. I see him as rejecting power and dismantling it. what he's doing is he is at the level he is at the state level. He is opposing and defending against powers from above, and dismantling corruption beneath him. Mostly. He is still a politician, he's still a governor, he's still imperfect, and he's still doing some things that I'd like for him not to do, of course, because everybody does. Everybody in government does. But overall, I think that what he's doing is, again, not sort of grabbing tyrannical power and wielding it. That would be something like, let's take a particular concrete example. One of the things that DeSantis has done that I greatly appreciate is he is the Anti-Woke Act, or whatever it was, the thing that was getting rid of critical theory in primary and secondary schools and public schooling. And how it was done is almost the perfect libertarian solution. What he did, and what the law does currently, is that it doesn't just alter the curriculum. For two reasons. One, teachers will get around that necessarily. Teachers, unions, and other bad actors, let's say, will get around changes to curriculums, official changes to official curriculums, because of course they will. That's what they've been doing forever. That's how these kinds of cultural subversions occur. The other reason is because it would simply be, like I said, a kind of imposition of something else from the top down, from a kind of outside authority imposing something new instead of what's being imposed now. Excuse me. What the law does instead is it gives legal standing for parents to sue schools, districts, and teachers' unions, I think. Could be wrong about the last one, but schools and districts at least, for parents to sue them for damages for effectively educational malpractice, teaching to their children things that they reject and object to of these critical theory categories. So what we have here is it is not a kind of state power that is coming in and altering things and changing the arrangement of political authority structures. What it's doing instead, or power structures, sorry. What it's doing instead is that it is empowering parents, those affected, essentially, or those who have legal standing in place of those affected, empowering them with the resources to undermine and overturn those political power structures which are harming them and harming their children. That's what he's doing. And I think, like I said, this is, I think, the perfect, or close enough to the perfect libertarian solution, at least within a system where there are public schools and things like that, or state schools. Basically allowing people to sue for malpractice. It's tort. Right? It's civil law. It's not criminal. Right? It's a civil suit. It's not a criminal suit. It's not a criminal charge. It's not a top-down imposition. It is allowing people to utilize the legal system to fight against harms being done. I could not have formulated that better myself. Honestly, I'm not committed to saying this, and it hurts to say this. It feels nasty saying this, but this might be a better solution than eliminating public schools. Oh, don't hurt me, LP. I'm not being paid by the LP, but I'm not even a member of the LP. But still, I think that the simple elimination of public schooling is a long-term process. It's nothing that can happen in the short term. Obviously, I think that this is one, honestly, step towards that. That and something like I hate to promote vouchers because I think that that is just a. I think that that's nothing but a way of getting government strings attached to private and homeschools. Rather, what I think it should be something like if you don't have children in public schools, you shouldn't pay property taxes. It's a school. It should be a school tax because that's what it pays for, or something along those lines. Or you should have a rebate on your property taxes, or something like that. Something like that. That basically yanks funding away from corrupt government schools, or at least those that are doing a crappy job, and therefore have parents leaving, have students leaving, and that'll eventually just pare down public schooling, just gradually, as a lengthy process. And again, like I said, I think that putting power in the hands of those that the system is allegedly set up to serve, which of course it's not. The public school system was originally an anti-Catholic project. It was meant to, it was put forward by a bunch of by mostly Protestants, Protestant people in government, to replace the perfectly functioning Catholic school system in the late 19th, early 20th century. Before that, public schools were basically unheard of, and where they did exist, they were minor and they were small, and they were an alternative. They weren't a primary thing. They became a big thing once again Protestants wanted to replace and supplant the Catholic school system. They wanted to teach the Bible in school, but their King Jamesy Protestant version of the Bible, and get rid of those counteract the effects of those darn papists. So of course, what do you think happens? The secular state co-opts it, takes it over, keeps the anti-Catholic elements, and everything's awful. That's what always happens. Making a griffin.
This is just... It's something to keep their hands busy. I'm grateful you tracked me down when you did. As exciting as wandering the woodlands was, this is better. It's good to be part of something so important. Something that could change things.
The Grey Wardens are huge and important. You're part of that.
True, but without a blight on the horizon, everything the Wardens do feels like waiting. This, the Inquisition, is what matters now. And I'm grateful to be a part of it. You are who you choose to follow. Someone told me that once. Took me years to understand what he meant.
There's wisdom in that.
It was a chevalier who said those words to me. A powerful man, but never without honor. A true knight. We met as competitors in the Grand Tourney. He left me with that advice before we parted. Put aside his own ambitions to help me win the melee. I don't think I even thanked him.
What is this Grand Tourney?
You've never heard of it? The Grand Tourney of the Free Marches. It's a spectacle. Song, dance, wine, every amusement you can imagine.
Oh, she definitely would have heard of it.
But the greatest part is the contest of arms. Prove yourself in the Grand Tourney, and you can make your fortune.
How did he help you?
There were 100 men on the field, each one fighting for himself. The knight and I had forged an alliance. It was just the two of us, and we took all comers. The goal, down as many opponents as possible. He always let me deliver the final blow.
He must have wanted something from you to help like that.
A pupil, a squire. Someone to teach and to mold. He saw my potential. When it was over, he offered to mentor me. To teach me to become a chevalier like him. And I, young and stupid, turned him down flat. I just won the melee at the Grand Tourney. I didn't need him. I should have gone with him. Perhaps things could have been different.
Different doesn't always mean better.
In this case, I think it would have been better. But I'm older, hopefully wiser. And I think I've chosen the right person to walk with.
See, I really like Blackwall. Despite what Erica will inevitably criticize, is his pouty baby lips and his weird beard. Mostly the mustache, I guess, apparently. But I don't know. Should I go ahead? I couldn't pull it off, could I? I couldn't pull off a forked beard. I don't think. No. Not gonna try it. Yeah, pretty sure I couldn't pull off a forked beard. Sadly. Much as I'd like to. It would be neat. I'd like to bring it back. I know it's been out of fashion for like 700 or 800 years, but so is almost everything else that I really like has been out of fashion for 700 or 800 years, so, I mean, I figure, alright, should bring it back. But no, I don't think it'll work. I don't think I have the face or the beard for it, really. Could try, though. Someone either convince me or convince me not to try and pull off a forked beard. Somebody. Anybody. I'll do it. I really want to. I probably won't. But I want to. Probably not going to happen. Probably wouldn't even work if I tried. But still, what if it did?
Gloat all you like. I have this one.
Sit down, Colin. What's going on?
Are you sassing me, Commander? I didn't know you had it in you.
Why do I even... Inquisitor.
Oh, okay. Sit. No,
Leaving,
sit.
are you?
Sit.
Does this mean I win?
Erica, stop making fun of me for my beard. He says, stop it. At least his beard is at least full and voluptuous. Is it really, though? It's not really, though. I will say, I at least partially blame the mask thing. I still have to wear it in class for retarded reasons. For parts of this being a problem. Irritating to no end. Kevin says, do it. Well, my wife says not to. So, I mean, I think she might win out on this one. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll still think about it.
Are you two playing nice?
I'm always nice. You need to
Are
come
you?
to terms with my inevitable victory.
You're kind of sassy.
You'll feel much better.
Really? Because I just won. And I feel fine.
Don't get smug.
I have no idea how this game works.
I should return to my duties as well.
No idea how this game works.
Unless
It's cool looking,
you
though.
would care for a game.
It's got a hex grid. I love hex grids. Oh man, wait a minute. I'm playing D&D on a virtual tabletop, and I have been for 2 years now. I could definitely set things up as hex grids, couldn't I? I kind of want to. I kind of really want to set up hex grid D&D maps. I'm gonna do it.
Prepare the board, Commander.
As a child, I played this with my sister. She would get this stuck-up grin whenever she won, which was all the time. My brother and I practiced together for weeks. Oh, the look on her face the day I finally won. And between serving the Templars and the Inquisition, I haven't seen them in years. I wonder if she still plays.
You have siblings.
2 sisters and a brother.
Where are they now?
They moved to South Reach after the Blight. I do not write to them as often as I should. Oh, it's my turn.
Are you guys experiencing any interruptions and problems in the stream? Because I'm seeing some issues on my end. I'm hoping this isn't hoping this is just my problem. I'm gonna keep a closer eye on it. It's been having a problem since this cutscene started for some reason.
All right, let's see what you've got.
This may be the longest we've gone without discussing the Inquisition or related matters.
Well, yeah, hell yeah,
To be
I'm
honest, I
playing them.
appreciate
Yeah.
the distraction.
Why Why is it loading again? Eric, I'm gonna make Eric puke with hex grids. I love hex grids. They're just purely superior to a square grid. Unless you're doing urban city planning. That's bad. Kevin's having to catch up with 2x time now and again. But it is all getting up there, even if it's doing a loading screen once in a while, so that's something, I guess. Hopefully it's fine. Oh yeah, that's also probably why my numbers are fluctuating like crazy. Anyway, so yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully it's fine. Wink.
We should spend more time together.
I would like that.
Me too.
Aw.
You said that. We should finish our game, right? My turn?
Oh god!
I believe this one is yours. Well played. We shall have to try again sometime.
Yeah, okay. Yep, Sybil. Why are you like this? Oh god. We should spend more time together. Yes, I would like that. Yes, so would I. You said that. Oh my god. Dear me, I'm still alive. Your loving brother, Cullen. Honestly, is it so difficult? We thought you were dead. Again. If the Inquisition was not on everyone's lips, we would never have heard that their fine commanders survived Haven. We've been hearing strange things about the Templars lately. I'm not sorry you left them. I thought your resignation was implied when you joined the Inquisition, but you meant something more, didn't you? It's a fool's errand asking you to stay safe, but please try. Your loving sister. See how easy this is? Mia. Nice. Okay, let's head over to the tavern, talk to Cole, yell at Sarah. Then we'll head out and do some real, actual story. Like it, as I promised. Vaguely promised.
Roderick was sorry before he died.
Roderick.
I wasn't aware you and Roderick were acquainted.
He was hurt. Red inside from the Templar, but red outside from the Templar too. Needed help to walk. Limping, light, leaning on the young like old Pepe when the road was icy. He called me a fine young man. He said he was sorry for what he did to you.
Erica says, listen, Sable is not smooth. I agree.
Roderick was a pebble in the Inquisition's boot. A little remorse seems only fair.
Oh, that was mean. No.
Monsters, madness.
I didn't mean to be that
dying.
mean.
We're all dying. The Herald stands against it, and heads turn. Desperate and simple, pure. Voices in the chantry. Years since I'd sung the song and felt it flowing through me. But this is real. This is real. So long since I'd felt it. Falling, flying, faith. And I fought her. Make her forgive me. I hope I did enough.
Huh. How you doing, Sarah?
Human armies and wardens, and Varric has exactly who we need. The big talker just knows everything.
Oh my god, we can just tell her to leave. Straight up leave. Oh.
So you like to have fun. The Inquisition seems an odd fit. Why are you really here?
What do you mean? To help people.
It's starting to sound like you're looking for something more.
It is, mostly. Okay, fine, there's talk and I want to see.
See what?
I don't know. I've got all this chantry stuff in my head and it makes sense, right? But it's fuzzy. I want to see if it's all really real. I just don't know if I want to really know. So I'm selfish. It's all for me. Count yourself lucky, I guess.
Is your network of contacts still active after what happened?
After Lord Arsehole and Vishel? Of Of course. He may have killed people, but that just means there's more who hate him. You should be one of them, but maybe not. So watch out for that.
Is Red Jenny real? Or was she always just you and your friends?
Dunno.
Don't you care?
Not if it works. I mean, Red is scary because blood. And Jenny is... Look, nobody fears the bunch of people who do random stuff. And besides, it's easy. Nobles want a bogeyman because they need to believe normal people can't get at them. Numbers,
I mean, that's true.
right? It don't have to be so complicated.
It seems like it should be more complicated than that.
That's why you be bad at it and why I'm here. You don't want to play, don't play. That's simple too.
Okay, I won't.
We annoyed some nobles. Does that really help all that much?
Gets you paid for one. You seem happy enough about that. I don't get what's so hard to understand. Your stuff works the same. Your Inquisition, I mean. Punch a bully, people like you. Do it because they asked, or let them think they asked. They like it even more. It's inspiring, even if it sometimes goes tits up and they take a hit back. You know, like Haven.
You really work hard to make it seem like what you do makes sense.
Right, because sense is what everything makes. Look at you, making sense. A Coryphalus and his sky hole. Sense is not required for stuff to happen. And that's not my rule.
We'll talk another time.
Alright then.
It's all good, isn't it?
Yeah. Can I go through your window? Can I go? Nope, won't let me out. Okay, fine. Whee. Oh, Iron Bull's here, right? Iron Bull's in here somewhere? Yeah, let's talk to Bull.
Can I help you?
Now we're good.
See you later, Bull.
Nice talking with you, boss.
Alright.
Have you seen otherwise?
Alright.
Just what I heard.
Okay.
Have to make sure it's clear.
Cassandra's back here somewhere still.
Stefan finally
Yeah.
died. It was a blessing, really. He's been in so much pain since Haven. He was out of his mind at the end. Smiled, said he smelled his mother's turnip stew, and slipped away.
Well, that's hard. Okay.
Good book.
Ah! I don't know what you're talking about.
Pentagasp. Oh god.
Wait, are you blushing?
What would I have to blush about?
You tell me.
It's of no interest to you, I'm certain.
Really? Are you sure?
It's a book.
I can see that.
It's one of Varric's tales. Swords and Shields, the latest chapter.
The latest chapter meaning you've read them all?
Not since this all began. We've been busy.
That's just her favorite.
Nobody asked you to winter.
I couldn't finish the last one you lent me. I actually feel dumber for having tried.
Oh no!
It's literature. Smutty literature. Whatever you do, don't tell Varric.
Okay, so yeah, it's so Cassandra is obsessed with trashy romance novels and doesn't want the author to know. I love this so much.
Me? No, I would never.
They're terrible. And magnificent. And this one ends
God,
in a
I love this.
cliffhanger. I know Varric is working on the next. He must be. Pretend you don't know this about me.
Oh gosh. Alright, see you later, Kevin. I'm glad that you got to see that. Oh gosh. Alright, well we are gonna go talk to Varric. Maybe not
Inquisitor.
maybe we'll avoid spilling the beans about Cassandra, because, you know, that would be mean. But we should still talk to him about the book, you know? Anyway, good night, Kevin. Good to see you. See you around.
Battling the demons of paperwork. That's a fight nobody walks away from clean.
You have no idea the number of times I've almost been killed by bills of lading. I've been meaning to come talk to you anyhow. I never officially joined the Inquisition. I don't know how to do this disciplehood thing. I'm a businessman. Never really followed a chosen one before.
I mean, Hawke wasn't technically... Oh, hey, Michael's here at the door. Hawke was kind of a chosen one-ish. He certainly acted like one. He was very fated, let's say, even though he wasn't apparently chosen by the Maker. But, yeah, follow my lead. Or, no, because I'm kind of the Herald of Andraste, so maybe not that. You know what? Yeah, Sable needs a good buddy. Good little buddy.
I don't need a disciple. I need a friend.
If you knew how intimidating you are, you wouldn't make it sound so simple. You just don't know what you are to the people out there. The Herald of Andraste is a symbol bigger than any of us.
There's no way I can be bigger than myself, Varric.
Sure you can. You don't see yourself like they do. The sky tears open, demons everywhere. To ordinary folks, these are the end times. The only hope they have is you. You're the sign that somebody might hear their prayers. That maybe they're not abandoned after all. You heard the crowd singing after Haven was attacked?
Whatever I am to Thedas, I'm still just an ordinary person.
So, just a regular person, like anybody else. Right.
You can be both.
Probably get back to work. Unless,
can be both.
You up for a game of Wicked Grace? Looking for someone to talk your ear off? I think I can oblige.
Darn it, there's no way to ask him without totally spilling the beans. Well, here we go. Beans time.
Cassandra is waiting for the next issue of Swords and Shields.
I must have heard that wrong. It sounded like you just said that Cassandra read my books.
She's a pretty big fan, in fact.
Are we talking about the same Cassandra? Tall, grumpy seeker, like stabbing things? Wait, did you say the romance serial? Oh, she'll be waiting for a while then. I haven't finished it and wasn't planning to. That book is easily the worst I've ever written. The last issue barely sold enough to pay for the ink.
Oh no.
Well, Cassandra seems to be hooked on it.
And I honestly thought a hole in the sky was the weirdest thing that could happen. So, you want me to finish writing the latest issue of my worst serial for Cassandra? Oh, that's such a terrible idea. I have to do it. On one condition. I get to be there when you give her the book.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, this is gonna be so bad. I love it and I can't wait. I love this so much.
I'll get to work then.
I love this so much.
You know, the fact that the book is terrible just makes it more worthwhile somehow.
Should we do this now?
Inquisitor, if you've a moment.
Oh, yeah.
My Lady Inquisitor, it's good of you to speak with me. I have news regarding one of your companions, the Winter.
Nothing good, I expect.
If you have reservations about his presence here, I share them. But this is another matter. I have been in contact with his family. House Pavas, out of Carenas. Are you familiar with them?
Familiar? We've never met, if that's what you're suggesting.
I'm suggesting nothing. I'm only curious whether you know of his situation. The family sent a letter describing the estrangement from their son and pleading for my aid. They've asked to arrange a meeting quietly without telling him. They fear it's the only way he'll come. Since you seem to be on good terms with the young man, I'd hoped...
It's odd that they would reach out to a Chantry sister, especially given the sort of the schism, I guess, between the proper Chantry and the Tevinter Chantry. Mother Giselle seems like a strange person to contact.
Why would his family contact you?
Because they don't know you, Inquisitor. I am not of the Imperial Chantry, but they know what I represent. These are parents concerned about the welfare of their son. How could I not do whatever possible? I would speak to the young man myself, but he does not care for me. Thus I come to you. If any good can come of this, we must try.
I mean, assuming it's not a trap, yeah?
Are you sure this isn't some kind of trap? I mean, the secrecy...
That did occur to me. What if it is a plot of those mages, the Venatori? Another reason to put this in your hands, Inquisitor. I pray that isn't the case. But if it is, you are far better equipped than I to respond to such treachery.
Just what kind of meeting do they have in mind?
I believe they just want to talk, to understand why Dorian felt he had to come here. Somewhere private, away from Skyhold, but not in Tevinter. You make them nervous.
Oh, Michael just went to bed. Okay. Good night, Michael.
Understand why he's here with the Inquisition.
I'll come in and bother him after the stream.
Come home.
Only a little bit.
I'd be worried too if my son ran off to join some gauche foreigners on a crusade.
So would I. Although I suspect there's more to it than either of us understands.
They don't want Dorian to know. That seems odd.
They believe the young man would refuse, and the letter implies he'd have cause. Yet, they are remorseful for whatever came before. This is a chance for dialogue. There is deceit in bringing the young man to this meeting without his foreknowledge, I know. But does it not lead to a greater kindness if there is potential for reconciliation?
Yeah, I think that this is a good thing to do. So again, assuming it's not a trap, I think this is ultimately going to be a good thing to do. And it's something we'll do next week. I'm not going to drag us through yet more side quests this week.
I'll see what I can do.
Despite appearances.
Inquisitor.
I know we have been in Skyhold for the first half of today, but...
the young man at the Red Cliff Tavern to take him onward. If he truly does not wish this reunion, he can always end the matter there. I shall pray for your success and the young man's happiness. That's all we can hope for. Is it not?
Yeah. Your Reverence, I understand that you feel inadequate to the task of bringing Dorian to a secret meeting. Even in the asking, I find it difficult to believe myself. Considering my son has rebuffed all contact, this is the only way. I know him. He would be too proud to come if he knew, even just to talk. That is all we wish to do. The thought of Dorian in the south, placing him in the path of such danger, alarms us more than I can express. If this somehow succeeds, we have a family retainer at the Vandrel Hills watching for Dorian's arrival. He will bring the boy to us somewhere private. If Dorian utterly refuses to go with them, it ends there, and there's nothing we can do. We are at our wits' end. Graciously yours, Magister Hallward, House Pavas. Well, we will take care of that, eventually, like I said. We'll get around to it. When did we get around to it? See if there's anything new. Josephine? Seems to be.
And what else did Lady Forsythia say? That she'd rather drown herself than help the Inquisition. Anything else?
Great.
She said she'd have us flogged alive if we allied with her brother. That does sound like her.
Ignorant?
Cheer up, Josie. We at least have her attention. You always do find the brighter side of things. We are in the midst of cementing an alliance with Lady Forsythia of Nevada, your worship. It's become a somewhat delicate task.
She'll have us flogged alive.
I believe she meant flayed alive. Her ladyship tends to confuse metaphors when she's excitable. I dissuaded her from sending soldiers when she learned we'd struck an accord with a brother she's feuding with. Lady Forsythia simply employs a colorful manner of speech.
Man, I like the dynamic, basically the dynamic of Josephine with everybody, but especially the besties dynamic between Josephine and Liliana. It's great.
Dealing with so many demanding, strong-willed people can't be easy.
It's no less intense than my days at court, Inquisitor, I assure you. But I confess I do miss my staff from the embassy in Antiva. It was always useful to discuss the day's visitors with them.
I have time if you'd like to review things with me.
I wouldn't wish to impose.
If it were imposing, I wouldn't have offered.
Well, I admit there are a few potential alliances it would be good to discuss. Right on the parlor floor, in front of everyone at the soiree. Who does such a thing in front of their guests?
The Duke of Kellington, apparently.
And then there's Cole's lurking. He threatens our guests half to death. Lord Jenner still won't respond to our letters.
Of
and
course.
Sarah, can she not find a single overshirt with that mustard stains on it? Then there's Dorian. The man refuses to take anything seriously unless it suits its whim. Not to mention... Oh goodness. Have we been here an hour already?
Is relaxing really this difficult for you?
Of course not. Well, occasionally. I didn't intend to go on for so long. You must think me quite the gossip.
No one else here has your experience, Josephine. Or your stories.
I'll try to curtail their length next time. But I leave feeling less troubled than I have in weeks.
Yeah, I especially like the bestie dynamic that you can develop with the Inquisitor too, especially as a noble background. That makes a lot of sense. They would just be good friends, very good friends. I like the I haven't played it, but I have seen I've watched the romance dialogue and stuff with Josephine. And it's tasteful. First of all, there's nothing that's excessive, let's say, but also it's great because there's so much of that like courtly intrigue stuff. You wind up at one point going to Val Royeaux with her, and you fight a duel on her behalf if you're romancing her, which is that's just great. If I could bring myself to play a male Inquisitor, basically ever, I would.
Has had no further trouble with
I would be torn between romancing Josephine and Tsundere Cassandra. All right, never underestimate how they function with the same name. We'll never understand. Memo from Liliana. A bunch of annoying poetry from Sarah, simple sketches about the Red Jennies, and their locations are scribbled below. Their mustaches seem improbable. Okay. Funded from Tanterville. They must be open to alliance after the trouble in Kirkwall. So from Navarra, I can leverage Pentecost name to, how about, let's just offer an alliance. That might work.
Inquisitor.
Okay. Believe we're now in favor of the Red Jenny in the city of Tanterville. as near as possible to tell. Okay, where's Tangervale? It's in the Free Marches? Yeah. Is she serious? It's hard to tell with this lot. Your caravan got around. A drunk moneylender tipped the money came from several merchants.
Our soldiers' training.
Can we neglect roads? Our allies cannot take the same route through the mountains we did.
They hate for different reasons. Don't know a thing about the Venatori here. The names, anyway, pretty useful. Names of several wealthy merchants. Sarah has also scrawled a note, also drawing of a fish with a hunter's horn. Charade knows her trick. Long memory, too. Ignorance is no excuse. Treat them like they knew. They'll give up their conspirators. It sounds a little torture-y. Maybe not. I spy several honorable militias who would want no part in this. Perhaps we can take away their business. That's a good idea. They do not know where the money went. Test their commitment. Confront them directly and demand the ringleader's name. I like Cullen's idea. Sent word to several comrades, knowing or not. The merchants behind the Venatori caravan have now lost most of their worth because of it. Red Jenny Charade is watching to see where they scatter. Okay. Anything else? That's it. Okay. So we need to go to Crestwood, and I might as well just travel from here. Fast travel. Venture forth with... Who do I need to bring? We're meeting with Hawke and his friend. So we need Varric, we need Cassandra, and we need a mage. Dorian? Maybe Dorian. Vivienne? Yeah, let's bring Vivienne. That'll be fine. That'll be good. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Off to Crestwood we go. The painted markings are not, in fact, solely for ceremonial purposes. There's some benefit. Cultural purpose to the patterns. They call them Vitar, means poison armor. It's called because they're magical, actually harden their skin to an iron-like quality without hindering flexibility. Wow, really? My analysis says paint consists largely of poison. Wacky. Very wacky. Yeah, there's a lot wacky about the Qunari. They're a bit disturbing, honestly. A lot about them. Both culturally and technologically, I will say. In one of the DLCs, in the major one, Trespasser, there is actually quite a bit that we learn about. Okay, you guys just fell from the sky. But yeah, there's actually quite a bit we learn about the Qunari. And about how relatively disturbing they are, really. Wrath of Heaven. There is no darkness. Resistance to a lot of damage, especially demons. It's pretty cool. Last sacrifice. And should you fall, you give your allies the strength to fight on harder in your name. Oh, so if you die. Cassandra doesn't die much. So let's go with this. There is no darkness. That's kind of cool. Disruption fields. Magical energy slows and weakens your enemies. Enemies larger than the field are immune. Maybe. What's this? Decloaking blast. If you rematerialize an enemy, lower the charge in your spirit blade. No, let's go with defending blade. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right. Let's do this first.
Inquisitor.
Finding Butcher, a spy, one of our spies. It's got to be around here somewhere. If I remember correctly, he's down by the water. You can hopefully avoid fighting a bunch of Druffalos. They're actually kind of tough. It shouldn't be a problem if we do wind up having to beat some up, but either way, I'd like to avoid them if possible. No, not this way. Pardon me, Ruffalo. I could have sworn he was down here by the water. It's not. Oh, hey. Oh. Oh no. Stack of papers is so blood-soaked the pages stick together. Only a few lines are still legible. After knowing who he truly serves, it was an easy thing to discover his compatriots. I lifted a list of their spies from one before I left. We have little time before the theft is discovered, so I advise we move post-haste. I was followed, but do not fear. I lost my pursuers in Leeds. Only our closest friends know my final destination. Butcher.
Reinforcements!
Heck.
To think they swore themselves to the Maker's service.
Okay. Red Templars. Traitors to the Maker. Alright, where to? Yeah, we'll go back and turn this in soon, but we'll do this first. Is there more? Are there more of them? Wolves. Alright, let's just go. I don't want to deal with wolves. Yeah, I think... Yeah, this is the right way, because there's Hawke.
Glad you made it. I just got here myself. My contact with the Wardens should be at the back of the cave.
There was a group of Wardens out there hunting a senior Warden. They said he was a traitor.
Of course they did. They may even have believed it. How much blood is shed by good men following bad orders?
Yeah. We talked about that. Was it last week or the week before? We were talking about the problem of order following, and I brought up Robert Higgs. Brilliant political philosopher that talks about this a lot. That those who follow orders, particularly when they know that those orders are unjust, are just as responsible as those who give the orders, at least as responsible even. And we start to see that here. That statue's creepy. Hey, it's Stroud. It's Mr. Mustache.
It's just us. I brought the Inquisitor.
My name is Stroud, and I'm at your service, Inquisitor.
I'll take all the help I can get. I know the Wardens have troubles of their own. I wonder, though, might those troubles have anything to do with Corypheus?
I fear it is so. When my friend Hawke slew Corypheus, Weishaupt was happy to put the matter to rest. But an archdemon can survive wounds that seem fatal, and I feared Corypheus might possess the same power. My investigation uncovered clues, but no proof. Then, not long after, every warden in Orlais began to hear the calling.
Maker? Why didn't you tell me?
It was a Grey Warden matter. I was bound by an oath of secrecy.
Is the calling some sort of Grey Warden ritual?
The calling tells a warden that the Blight will soon claim him. Starts with dreams. Then come whispers in his head. The warden says his farewells and goes to the deep roads to meet his death in combat.
And every Grey Warden in Orlais is hearing that right now. They think they're dying.
Yes. Likely because of Corypheus. If the wardens fall, who will
Ergo
stand against the next
likes his
Blight?
facial hair better than Blackwall's.
It is our
Okay.
greatest fear.
So Corypheus isn't controlling them. He's bluffing them with this calling. And they're falling for it.
So this actually relates back to Origins. That the hero Ferelden, Dalen, where he went after Awakening, after why he left as the Warden Commander of Ferelden, was he was going off to investigate the cause of the calling, and to see if he could come up with a cure for it. I forget which book this was in. This was in one of the novels that he goes into that goes into this this journey of the hero Ferelden going on to try and cure the calling, and it's only alluded to. It's not directly told, unfortunately, because again, primarily because the specific character traits of the hero Ferelden are so incredibly vague. Like, it's not even clear if the hero is, if the Warden Commander, at least, is the hero Ferelden, or if the hero Ferelden died at the end of Origins, and the Warden Commander, the new Warden Commander, was an Orlesian Grey Warden. It could have been either one, and it's, canonically, it could have been either one, and so they've been really cagey about making a particular canonical answer to it. So, instead, we have stories that are vague and just sort of allude to the hero of Ferelden, or allude to the Warden Commander, things like this. And this is one of those, and this is one of those cases where where we get this story about why the Warden Commander, why Dalen, is nowhere in sight, nowhere to be seen. Hawke's cousin, that is. And so he went off somewhere to try and cure the calling, or find a way to stop it. And so, ties in very closely to what we see happening here.
Is the calling they're hearing real, or is Corypheus mimicking it somehow?
I know not. Even as a senior warden, I had heard only the vaguest whispers of Corypheus. The wardens believe that this calling is real, and they will act accordingly. That is all we know for certain.
I mean, does it matter if they think it's real? Even if they think that it's being caused by Corypheus, even if they think it's fake, they would still have a reason to try, desperate measures to try and stop it.
You said all the wardens are hearing the calling. Does that include you?
Sadly, yes. It lurks like a wolf in the shadows around a campfire. The creature that makes this music has never known the love of the maker, but at times, I almost understand it. We must uncover what Corypheus
really poetic.
has done and end it. This cannot stand.
It's really poetic.
How can
overly
Corypheus
so.
make all these wardens hear the calling?
Darn it, I forgot to bring
cannot
Blackwall.
say. We know little about him, save that he is dangerous. He is a Magister, as well as a Darkspawn, and speaks with the voice of the Blight. That lets him affect the minds of Wardens, since we are tied to the Blight ourselves. It must be how he created this false calling.
So the wardens think they're dying and have stopped thinking clearly. That won't go well.
We are the only ones who can slay archdemons. Without us, the next Blight will consume the world. Warden Commander Clarel spoke of a blood magic ritual to prevent future blights before we all perished. When I protested the plan as madness, my own comrades turned on me. Grey Wardens are gathering here, in the western approach. It is an ancient Tevinter ritual tower. Meet me there, and we will find answers.
Let's go.
Regarding the calling, so many refuse to speak of it, but how can we not? How can we know it? How can we identify it if we do not share it? Calling is not a source of shame. The song that whispers in the back of my mind is no evil upon my soul, but the mark of a life well lived in service to a greater good. If all things come from the Maker, then is this too not part of his plan? Could it not be a gift, a final haunting melody to send us into the afterlife with hearts opened? Could this not be his song? It scratches at my thoughts, a music almost a voice, at once unearthly and beautiful. I found myself humming it aloud a few days past. Where once it intruded, it now feels a natural part of my mind's course. Coils around memories I hold dear, training with Sir Keller, riding in the moonlight, my mother's face the last time I saw her, and it inserts itself into them, so that I could almost swear that music, that sense of a presence watching and calling, had always been a part of what I remember. This is what the senior wardens warned us of, I imagine. I should not find it beautiful. I must recognize the corruption, and recognize that my mind is slowly losing the wit to differentiate between this world and that which would consume and destroy it. I must. I can. I will tell the wardens tomorrow. I've seen their looks. They already know, I suspect. I will heed the calling and go to the deep roads to die with the dwarves, fighting as a Grey Warden should. But if I am to die, after all I have given, can I at least not allow myself the pleasure of the song's beauty? The final pages of To My Fellow Wardens by Sir Marjorie Barron. I do still want to talk to Stroud, but first, let's see if he has more to say.
We should get to the ritual tower in the western approach as soon as possible, Your Worship.
Darn it, I wanted to bring, Blackwall for this. Hold on.
We'll talk later.
Let me save real quick, just in case I need to reload, because I still want to talk to him about all that, but I want to have Blackwall here. So, save really quick. Let's just run and go get Blackwall.
Hopefully we'll find some answers in the western approach.
And bring Blackwall back.
I fear what those answers will be. I've seen too much blood magic to ever trust where it leads.
Yeah, I know that. Now I will say, it's kind of... I like that they actually finalized and decided on some character traits for Hawke, regardless of how you play Dragon Age 2. In particular, they really solidified this idea that he hates or mistrusts blood magic, despite the possibility that you can play Hawke as a blood mage in Dragon Age 2, and that he can be in a relationship with Meryl, who's also a blood mage in Dragon Age 2. So let's still bring Varric. Let's bring Blackwall. Let's still... You know what? No, let's switch to... Let's keep the VN. Let's see if we can go back and talk to him again. I hope so. Otherwise, I'll just reload, unfortunately. I feel like the juicy part Blackwall already missed. Yeah, he might have, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if we can still talk about the Wardens. Like them saying all the Wardens are hearing the calling? Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to ask Blackwall about
You're
that.
right, Lady Vivienne.
Whatever are you talking about, darling?
In our last fight, I saw you take a blow. If I'd been there quicker...
Oh, aren't you precious?
I appear to have offended.
No, dear.
Oh, he's still here.
You
Good.
possibly offend me.
Nice. Okay, let's talk to him.
How may I serve?
Okay.
Clarel's the Warden Commander, right? What's she like?
She was a good warden. Once. Among those King Kalen reached out to before the Blight. She always resented missing the chance to help. When the calling came, Clarel stopped listening to the rest of us. Only magic could solve this problem, she said.
Do you think Corypheus is using the calling to control her?
It's hard to say. I have heard the whispers of the calling myself, but it's only noise, no words. Certainly no commands. Either way, the guilt is hers. She's Warden Commander. She should bow to no one's word, but Weishaupt's.
Well, she's Warden Commander of Orlais. I still don't know who's Warden Commander of, Ferelden.
What's it like, being a warden? I can't even imagine.
It's been a long time since I was anything else. It becomes your life, searching out Darkspawn, killing them, ensuring no one ever knows how close they are.
Corypheus was in a warden prison, right? So you must know something about him.
I know little, and that much only because of my relative seniority. Most wardens have never heard of him. When I suggested Corypheus might have something to do with the calling, the warden mages turned on me. I trained some of those wardens myself. If I knew any more of Corypheus, I would share it, your worship.
Okay.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, you were right. We missed the juicy part. Darn. Okay. Yeah. Darn it. Okay. Well. Oh well. We goofed it. It's okay. It's okay, I guess. Alright, so let's actually go to the western approach. We've got an hour. That's good. We need to go back to Skyhold, though. In order to do that from the war table. While we're here in Skyhold, let's talk to Blackwall and see if he can tell us any more about the calling. And, you know, the possibility that he is also hearing it, which would be bad.
I'm here.
Let's talk about the Grey Wardens. You must know a lot about them.
Ah, the Wardens. I'm afraid we're less exciting than we seem.
Have you been hearing the calling too?
I know what Corypheus is. He has no sway over me.
That's not what I asked at all. But okay.
Let's continue this at another time.
As you wish. I'll be here if you need me.
That was really evasive. Wow, that was shockingly untrustworthily evasive.
Fights for the people. What people? People who need him. That is so vague as to be meaningless.
Someone's in the Dales and fights for the people who need him. I have no clue who or what that possibly could mean, but it sounds like there's like a Robin Hood figure. Oh, I think I remember who that's talking about. I think, but I could be wrong. I think there was like a disgraced or fallen Orlesian noble. Oop. Freezing. Hello. Who like does Robin Hood type stuff. Before we do that, I want to go and I want to go give Cassandra her book. We'll go do that right now. There we go. I love those. So stupid.
I can keep staring at this, but I won't get any closer.
What are you looking for?
I suppose I'll never find them on my own. We saw so many Red Templars at the assault on Haven. Perhaps all that was left of the Order. What we didn't see was Lord Seeker Lucius. Indeed, I've seen no hint of any Seekers amongst the Red Templars, or anywhere. I have a growing suspicion Corypheus has imprisoned them.
Finding them obviously means a lot to you.
I left the Order. but I can never abandon them. I cannot even claim that rescuing them would be beneficial. They wouldn't look kindly on the Inquisition. But even so, if there's a chance... If we can spare resources to follow up on these leads, Inquisitor, I would appreciate it.
That's not what I expected. I honestly expected... I expected to give her the book and to talk to her about that. I expected a funny haha moment. That was a dour moment instead. In any case, let's... Missing Seekers. The attack on Haven showed that the Corypheans corrupted and controlled the Templar Order. This should have been impossible under the watch of her fellow Seekers, but they, and particularly Lordly Seeker Lucius, in order to be found, have they vanished, or as Cassandra believes, was something done to them. With effort, the truth may come to light. Seekers have many secret hideaways, according to Cassandra. First places agents should search, or someone must have seen them, or given them safe harbor. Entice them with a reward. Leads will follow. Yeah, let's do that. For a time, finding the missing Seekers seemed impossible. Early indications pointed to these men and women heading one at a time into Ferelden. But here, their trail went cold. A chance rumor regarding Ban Loren, a Ferelden nobleman, who had not been heard from for months, led Inquisition agents to investigate Caer Oswen. And they, too, went silent. That's not good. These events are connected, and it seems this is where the missing Seekers will be found. Caer Oswen. Is it somewhere I can go? Doesn't seem like it. That is, the Caer Oswen is in Ferelden. But I can't go there.
It's a bit
At least not
cold
yet.
in here, don't you think? We are in the mountains.
I'm more concerned about everything scattering whenever there's a draft.
Okay. Our scouts confirm the Inquisitor's report. A large force of Grey Wardens has moved into the western approach. We need to establish a foothold out there immediately. Okay, let's do it. I'm not going to go there yet. Because, like I said, I do still want to talk to Cassandra. Commander Cullen. Scouts confirm the Inquisitor's report. A large... Okay, we just said that. No. We unlocked it, though. We can just fast travel there. We don't need deep mushrooms. We do need metals.
Inquisitor.
Aragon's luster. Nice. More. Mixing waste resources.
All right.
All right. Anyway. Yeah, so let's go and chat with Cassandra, and then we'll head out to the western approach. And we will bring Blackwall this time. Oh, we can just go to Caer Oswen. We'll do that next. That'll be one of the things we do next week. How about that? It'll be an actual proper character quest. Not a side quest. It'll be a companion quest. Oh boy, here we go.
What have you done now?
I get it, Seeker. You're still sore after our spat.
I'm not a child, Varric. Do not suggest I'm without reason.
A peace offering. The next chapter of Swords and Shields. I hear you're a fan.
No. It's Aveline.
This is your doing.
I love it.
Oh, yes. Do you really think I'd miss this?
Well, if you're not interested, you're not interested. Still needs editing anyhow.
Wait!
You're probably wondering what happens to the Knight Captain after the last chapter.
Nothing should happen to her.
Oh my
She was falsely accused.
Well, it turns out the guardsman...
Don't tell me!
Oh my god.
This is the part where you thank the Inquisitor. I don't normally give sneak peeks, after all.
Sandra greatly approves.
Thank you.
Varric's the one you should be thanking.
I am but a humble servant to my loyal readers.
I wonder if I have time to read the first part.
Don't forget to tell all your friends, if you have any. Completely worth it.
Oh my god. Erica says, wait, sounded so desperate. Yeah, it really did. That was hilarious. Oh, I love that so much. Okay. Western approach. Let us go. Let us bring Blackwall. Let us bring Vivienne and Dorian. That'll work. Yeah, that'll work. Weird selection, but alright. Really? I didn't realize that. Different mounts can take different amounts of damage before you're thrown. I didn't know that. Huh. I didn't realize. Lost art of Veilfire. Though it is an elven magic, I submit that Veilfire is worthy of consideration, for they perfected it at the height of their civilization. Certainly mages often use it as a source of light, blah, 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 blah. I missed the rest. It's cool, it's useful, it does magic stuff. I mentioned earlier that this stuff is very sippable. I don't know if you can see. I've drank like a third of this.
Visitor, welcome to the Western Approach. We've sighted Warden activity to the southwest, but no one's been close enough to figure out what they're doing. Between the sandstorms and the vicious wildlife, we haven't made it far out here. One of my men got too close to a poison hot spring and gave me a slightly delirious report of a high dragon flying overhead.
Cool.
In short, this might just be the worst place in the entire world. Be careful out there.
Okay.
Well, it's good to know what I'm in for.
Sorry I don't have more for you. We intercepted a Venatori messenger and, persuaded him to give up the orders he was carrying. We have them here. This entire place. It just feels like something's not right. Be careful.
Okay. Okay. All right. Oh wait, let's pick up some of our quests here. Venatori measures Octavian. With our allies, the Templars redeploying and abandoning their mine in the canyons. Ooh, man in the canyons. We will now focus our efforts on the excavations and the summoning attempts. Go have a word with our White Claw associates. Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws. I'll be sending further resources your way. Service. Let's not. Ooh, we could do this. Garden. I kind of want to do the watchtower at some point, but no, let's do the garden. And when we get back to Skyhold, we'll make it into a chantry garden. Let's not do that.
Dispatch for you.
What is it?
Could prove useful, sir.
Okay. All right. We made a greener garden. We'll go and actually do that later. Let's check the map we have so far. Logging stand right there. That'll work. There's no map. Not yet. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Fine. That's... Yeah? Uh-oh. Oh, well, that finally caught up. 70-bit finally caught up. Okay, we need logging stands. Nice. Okay, there's something there. There's a rift right there. And right up there. Let's check this out. I don't know what it is, but let's check it out. This thing, it's around here. Whee! We're probably going to run into that rift before we get to whatever it is we're looking for, but that's okay. Oh, no, maybe not. No, it's right there. Oh, it's one of those skull things for the shards. Again, like I've mentioned before, the shards are something that I'm probably going to mostly do off-stream just because it's a tedious collection quest. And I don't want to waste all of everyone's time going through and, like I said, tediously tracking down each glowy thing. There's one. Really? Really? You're gonna do this to me? Is that it? No. There's no way. Oh, that one's... This is one I already saw. Let me see. Oh, it's up... What? It's up there. What in the world? What is this? Okay, how do I get up there? Like this? Huh. Maybe... Oh, I bet I have to magic it, don't I? Alright, let's do it. Let's do it. I got a couple of mages with me. Cool statuary. Those look like the big statues that, what's-her-face did the, used to fight us at the end of Dragon Age 2. Neat. Very neat. Okay. Oh, come on. Really? Really? No, Dorian, just... Ah, gosh. Okay, fine. Let's try this again, shall we? But yeah, let's actually go and meet Hawke and Stroud shortly. Roughly speaking, as soon as we can. It's... Oh. Where? Oh, down there. Okay, cool. Yeah. Quarry? Logging stand as well? Okay, okay. Alright. I dig it. I dig it. Let's go that way. Yeah, through there. This way should be right. Oh, I'm gonna fall and... Ow. That hurt. I'm fine. Ah! Ah! Thoughtbot. Go away. Hyena.
One less to worry about.
A lone hyena? That's especially strange. That doesn't seem normal. That seems to be the kind of thing that would hunt in packs, but didn't. Why am I still drawing weapons? Guard. I'm eventually just going to die from fall damage, aren't I? No pelt? No pelt. Fine.
One down!
Another hyena. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. What's this? That's something that we're gonna have to deal with later. Meaning not now. That's definitely something to deal with later. It's definitely something to deal with, and definitely not something to deal with right now. There's a cave here, and there's Venatori in it. This is definitely the mine. We do this? Yeah, we might as well. We have time. I think. I hope. No spooter. Oh, there's more spooters. There's yet more spooters. Too many spooters. Benedict, pull up stakes. All plans for the mine and the western approach are off. The Inquisition's on the move and headed our way. Dump all the bodies and relocate to Impuesti Leon. Vernon. Oh, I see.
Whoever did this should pay.
I see. Whatever was going on here, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, what they were basically doing was they were growing red lyrium using dead corpses. Using dead people. And making it look like a mine. Which is a little bit horrifying. More than a little bit, really. It's very horrifying. Come on, how do I get up there? It's ridiculous. Move! Move, everyone. There. Okay, so if I do a nice little running jump. Whee! Nope. Okay. Nope. We're here. There we go. We're good. Actually, I don't know if it's corpses. It might actually have to be, like, grown from living people, which is all the more disturbing, honestly. Like we saw in the Vision of the Future. We went completely the wrong direction. I mean, it's fine, I guess. We'll go out this way and go by the quarry. And there's 2 quest things here as well.
What happened here?
Frederick Seralt, University of Orlais.
Ship 2, Frederick of Seralt. Who, in Andrasti's name, would be out in this desert? Aside from us.
What happened here?
Us?
Whoever did this has a lot to answer for.
What's this? Oh, Chantry Trail signs.
Chantry symbol out here. Odd.
It's some kind of a pilgrimage thing. Oh, hello. Don't mind us. We're just going this way for now. We'll come back and stab you later. Just give us a minute. The mosaic piece? No, it's a book. For Lady Winterfell's. Again, that's interesting to anybody in particular. I'm happy to read it. Just let me know. Any of these things look interesting. Oh, hello. Ow! There we go. Quildax. Don't need that really. Okay, so we got a quarry. We've claimed a quarry, and we're on our way to go meet with Stroud and Hawke to check out this Grey Warden stuff. Oh my. I see it. I think. Do I? Yeah, it's that. How in the world do I get over there? Is it this way? Maybe? I don't know. I have a feeling it's not jumping down there. Valemont Pass. Is there something up we need to go do? Oh, that's a dragon, alright. Hi, dragon. Oh my.
Out, dragon!
Well, at least the dragon didn't bother us yet.
The trail leads on.
Change your trail sign again. I don't think we want to go down. We want to stay up. But there's also a logging stand. Yeah, logging stand down here that we should claim. And there is a landmark to claim. Oh, it's in a cave or something, isn't it? Okay. That's inconvenient. Yeah, there's a great deal of things everywhere. So yeah, let's just keep on keeping on, I suppose. Is there a way up over there somewhere? Oop, 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 oop. I'm freezing again. Sorry about the weird lag. This is game lag and stream lag. That's not great. All right. Darn it! I keep forgetting I should need to turn down the quality of things. Someone remind me of this. Erica, remind me of this. That doesn't look nice. That looks poisony. Let's go the other way. Up. Okay, cool. Giant's staircase. Oh, this is where we need to go once we have unlocked all the astrariums, which doesn't help us yet. Remind me to turn down the quality. For while I'm streaming, it is a little bit laggy here and there. Much more so than I'd like. Okay, there we go.
Inquisitor.
Okay. Alright. There's more rifts everywhere, but that's not where we're going. We are going right there. To this weird, creepy Tevinter ritual site that looks very demony. Real demony. Hey, Fox. Yeah, cool. Fur. Nice. We need those. That hyena's gonna attack us if we don't. Okay, moving on. Alright, we're going right over here. Yeah, I've only got 30 minutes left. I think we can do this next quest part. I'm not horribly mistaken. This should not take that long. White claws. Okay. Got him. Scrolled reader note. Caravan of refugees drove off road so we could collect out of view of Imperial soldiers half died. You can pick up the wounded. R. Yeah. Well, that's unpleasant. Nice serpent stone. Alright. Here we go. This is, yep, there's Stroud and there's Hawke. Okay, let's do this.
I'm glad you made it, Inquisitor. I fear they've already started the ritual.
It was not good.
It
Not
has
good
to
at
be
all.
blood magic. I hope we can stop them before more people get hurt. You take point. I'll guard your backs.
I don't like that he has that staff rather than his very traditional blade staff. Seems like they would make it give him the Hawke staff, you know?
Warden Commander Clarel's orders were clear.
This is wrong.
Remember your oath. In war, victory. In peace, vigilance. In death, I'm sorry. Sacrifice.
Oh, okay.
Good. Now bind it just as I showed you.
Great. So they're doing human sacrifice. Blood magic rituals. To summon and bind demons.
Inquisitor!
Cool. Right.
What an unexpected pleasure. Lord Livius Edamond of Virantium, at your service.
You are no warden.
But you are. The one Clarel let slip. And you found the Inquisitor and came to stop me. Shall we see how that goes?
Wardens, this man is lying to you. He serves an ancient Tevinter Magister who wants to unleash a blight.
That's a very serious accusation. Let's see what the Wardens think.
Right.
Wardens, hands up. Hands down.
We should have figured.
They did this to themselves. You see, the calling had the Wardens terrified. They looked everywhere for help.
Even Tevinter?
Yes, and since it was my master who put the calling into their little heads, we in the Venatori were prepared. I went to Clarel full of sympathy, and together we came up with a plan. Raise a demon army, march into the deep roads, and kill the old gods before they wake.
First of all, I've heard of worse ideas, but not many worse ideas. I mean, killing the archdemons before they wake was basically the architect's plan from Awakening, and it was just as bad of an idea then as it is now. So yeah, no.
Ah, I was wondering when the demon army would show up.
You knew about it, did you? Well then, here you are. Sadly for the Wardens, the binding ritual I taught their mages has a side effect. They are now my master's slaves.
Of course they are.
This was a test. Once the rest of the Wardens complete the ritual, the army will conquer Thedas.
Do you really want to see the world fall to the Blight? What do you get out of this?
The Elder One commands the Blight. He is not commanded by it, like the mindless Darkspawn. The Blight is not unstoppable or uncontrollable. It is simply a tool.
No, Livius, you're the tool.
As for me,
nice.
While the Elder One rules from the Golden City, we, the Venatori, will be his god kings here in the world.
Why would Clarel risk using demons?
Demons need no food, no rest, no healing. Once bound, they will never retreat, never question orders. They are the perfect army to fight through the deep roads. Or across Olay. Now they are bound to my master.
So Corypheus influenced the Wardens and made them do this ritual?
Made them? No! Everything you see here, the blood sacrifices to bind the demons, the Wardens did it of their own free will. Fear is a very good motivator, and they were very afraid.
That's a lie. The Grey Wardens are heroes. They would never do this willingly.
The Grey Wardens care about nothing save stopping blights. They will do anything to accomplish that. You should have seen Clarel agonize over the decision. Burdens of command, I suppose.
Why would the Wardens try to kill the old gods?
A blight happens when Darkspawn find an old god and corrupt it into an archdemon. If someone fought through the deep roads and killed the old gods before they could be corrupted... Poof! No more blights, ever. The Wardens sacrificed their lives and saved the world. Although I fear history will remember them a little differently now.
Of course.
That's all I needed to know.
Oh, please. The Elder One showed me how to deal with you, in the event you were foolish enough to interfere again. That mark you bear, the anchor that lets you pass safely through the veil, you stole that from my master. He's been forced to seek other ways to access the Fade. When I bring him your head, his gratitude will be... Ah!
Nice. He clearly didn't know what the thing does. Like, really at all. Oh, you little coward. You little coward. That was easy. God. Rogues output so much damage.
You were correct. Through their ritual, the mages are slaves to Corypheus.
And the Warden warriors? Of course. Sacrificed in the ritual. What a waste.
Human sacrifice. Demon summoning. Who looks at this and thinks it's a good idea?
The fearful and the foolish.
That was a weird delay. Still a weird delay. Give it a second.
The Wardens were wrong, Hawke, but they had their reasons.
Don't start with me.
All blood mages do. Everyone has a story they tell themselves to justify bad decisions. And it never matters. In the end, you are always alone with your actions.
Do you mean like your girlfriend?
I know where the Wardens are, your worship. Ehrman fled in that direction. There's an abandoned Warden fortress that way. Adamant.
Yeah, Hawke. Were you talking about your girlfriend? You know, the blood mage? Who you helped with really bad idea blood magic rituals and demon summoning and got her keeper killed? You mean reasons like that? Like I said, I appreciate that they basically ignored the problem of a bunch of different versions of Hawke and different ways that Hawke could be played in Dragon Age 2, to kind of solidify a character in bringing him into Inquisition like this, because again, it was the best way of bringing him into Inquisition and giving him a good role in the plot without making them the protagonist. But man, him getting suddenly this bent out of shape about blood magic when he's been dating one for like 3 or 4 years now or more seems a little odd. It's a little out of place, and it's a little bit sudden, and it's a little bit extreme to me. But I mean, still, the whole human sacrifice thing, yeah, it's a big deal. It is a big deal, but still. Sorry, Eric, I'll talk normally. I'm talking normally now, don't worry.
I guess they didn't want to summon a demon army out in public.
The Warden and I will scout out Adamant and confirm that the other Wardens are there. We'll meet you back at Skyhold.
Okay. Okay, cool. Michenne, I don't trust this ritual Clarel is talking about. Are you sure it's safe? Have you even used blood magic? I don't care what the Chantry says. I doubt they'd approve of the joining if they knew everything about us. But my family fought to Vinter slavers near the border. This Ehrman sounds like everything that's wrong with the Imperium. I'll be waiting for you when you get back. If you can look me in the eye and tell me that this ritual is safe, I won't speak of it again. If not, just come back safe, please. Chernoff. Yeah, that didn't go well. Didn't go well at all. Inscription ale, huh? Like I said, I really do admire that they are willing to make a sort of canon Hawke like this with some wiggle room. There is some legitimate room for interpretation here, depending on how you played Hawke. He does act a little bit differently and all that, but they still canonically decide that Hawke fundamentally hates blood magic, which is kind of a weird thing to decide. Like, if anything, I would expect them to decide that Hawke canonically hates Qunari. You know, like the Arashok that he killed. Although, technically, I guess you don't have to kill the Arashok. You can leave the Arashok alive, technically. So, I guess maybe not. But there are some decisions that you can totally make about Hawke that fit almost any version of the character. But I don't know. This level of hatred and distrust of blood magic seems to be a little bit in conflict with what else we see of Hawke from Dragon Age 2, from what we remember of Hawke, you know? And that's even more so, given the fact that Hawke can be a blood mage. Oh, there's a guy down here studying dragons. Alright, well, let's do the Fade Rift, then let's wander about for a little bit, these last few minutes, and then we'll get out of here and wrap up for the night. We've got about 10 minutes, a little over 10 minutes. An hyena's not gonna bother us this time. Not just yet. Uh-oh. Loading again. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta remember, like I said, I gotta remember to turn down settings. Yeah. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay, where to? Landmark. Let's see if we can get to that. Is it over there? It's over on the other side, isn't it? Ah, darn it. Okay, let's not do that another time. There's another of those skull thingamaboobers. Let's go do that before we wrap. And like I said, that is something that, time permitting, I might do off stream at some point. Like I said, just wandering about and collecting these little shard things. Lamar Tower. That is not something, like I said, that's not something I'd like to waste everyone's time with. Just wandering very semi-aimlessly, trying to find a bunch of collectibles. Let's go this way. Let's get that. But let's go there first. No, stop. I already did that. Stop, please. Hyenas, huh? Oh, come on. I just can't hit that guy for whatever reason. Okay. That'll do. Leave the Wardens to their work, concentrate on the efforts on the dragon. Oh, they're trying to take out the dragon. Okay. The bandits are trying to take out the dragon. I'm guessing that's not going to go well. Just a thought. Alright. Onward we go. Oh, okay. It's another rift. Alright, let's do that. unlock this little camp, and then we'll call it there. Oops. There we go. Okay. Camp right over here, and then I think that'll about do it for tonight. This is also right near the dragon's nest. Once again, there are a couple of dragons that we can totally go after. And this is one of them, and there's another one. There was the other one in Crestwood. Probably do... Maybe we'll do a stream that's just a bunch of dragon hunting. I don't know. Oops.
Visitors. Thank the Maker. It's been so long since I've spoken to anyone. Have you come to observe the wildlife too?
I think I found your supplies.
Okay.
A dead man out in the desert had these on him.
Dead? Blessed Andraste. What about Marcus or Jeannette? This is terrible news. I am Frederic of Serrault, foremost researcher of draconology in Orlais. I came here with an expedition from the university. But the others are all missing, and our work has been halted. White Claw raiders have made off with much of our supplies. You will help me reclaim the equipment, will you not? You will champion the advancement of science.
Yeah, I found most of it.
I have the supplies you were waiting for right here.
But some of our equipment is still missing. If you happen to find more of it, please let me know.
Okay.
We'll have to speak some other time.
Okay. There is, like I said, definitely a...
It seems very unlikely that she could be nesting at this time of year. Ah, fellow researcher, how can I help you?
I have the supplies you were waiting for right here.
Oh, more. Okay.
Some of our equipment is still missing.
Okay.
If you happen to find more of it, please let me know.
Okay. Okay. Okay, let's go set up that camp and then we'll wrap for the night. Like I said, it is getting awfully close to midnight. And I think we are rapidly approaching a decent enough stopping point. Alright. That will about do. Oops, wrong thing. Oh wait, we got Draconology, quest complete. Good. Good. Shanty Trail. Okay, there's more of that. Ooh, we can upgrade our tower. Actually, let's do that right now. Upgrade. Actually, wait, what's this? Geological survey. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Okay, so next time we can decide on our garden, decide on our tower, reconstruct more of Skyhold. Thing I don't need. Another thing I don't need. Alright. Alright. Back we go. Skyhold. And we'll wrap it up for tonight. So, while we're loading in, thank you again. Thank you everybody for joining me. And those of you who are watching later on, Kevin, if you're back, good night or goodbye or whenever you happen to be watching this. Otherwise, thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming back later. And I am planning on getting back to Greedfall on Monday. I don't actually know how much longer the game is. Erica can maybe give me some insight into that, at least somewhat. And so because I don't exactly know how long it is, then we'll, I don't know how many more sessions we're going to be doing, for Greedfall. So, I don't expect it to be more than, I don't know, 3 or 4 more. So it is about time we start thinking about what to play next on Mondays. Next up, I have a few things on the docket as possibilities. I was thinking about Kingdom Come Deliverance. I was thinking about KOTOR 1 and probably 2. And I was thinking about Mass Effect Andromeda. A little over halfway through. Oh, okay, so we have some time. We've got some time. All right, we got a ways more. All right, but anyway, we might as well think about this in advance anyway, because I'm pretty sure that we're going to be finishing Greedfall before we finish Inquisition, because Inquisition is absurdly long, especially with all the DLCs and especially with all the side quests. So I honestly, I fully expect this to be my longest series, not Dragon Age as a whole, which is I think already my longest series, but I expect Inquisition to probably be longer even than Red Dead, which was my longest currently. So we'll see. But Greedfall, we will see how long that takes. We'll go as we go. But eventually, we are going to have to decide on a next game. And like I said, my big three on the docket would be Kingdom Come Deliverance, like I said, or KOTOR, Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, or like I said, Mass Effect Andromeda. I would not mind going back to Mass Effect to play Andromeda. I know that it got a lot of crap when it came out, and still honestly deserves a lot of it, but there's a lot there to like, and there's a lot there for us to talk about and to enjoy together. So that's an option. It is one of the options on the table. Otherwise, if you think of something else that you'd like to see me do on Mondays after we're done with Greedfall, and well, by the look of things, in at least a few weeks, if we're about halfway, then maybe more like, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or more. But in any case, that'll be something to think about as we go. And in any case, thank you all one more time for joining me tonight, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I hope to see you again next time. Night, everybody.